Hello everyone, welcome to the coverage for RBY OU overused in SPL 16, brought to you by yours truly, Marco SD. Week 7. So ISZA stepped in for the Wolves, replacing Prince. SPIES is back in action for the Tyrants. So Amaranth against Kaz, Jinx, Ditto. Amaranth gets the sleep. Kaz follows with Thunder Wave on Chansey. Then Kaz lures Tauros, goes Snorlax. So Body Slam on Cloyster. Kaz goes Jinx, so Cloyster is going to waste Blizzard PPs. Amaranth goes Tauros against Jinx again, this time Kaz goes Starmie, makes a double switch to Snorlax, catching incoming Chansey. Kaz uses Earthquake, scouting for counter, gets the critical hit. Chansey uses Thunder Wave on Snorlax. Amaranth goes Snorlax, and at this point it's quite evident Kaz needs to make some plays to put pressure. He didn't get the sleep off. Snorlax is paralyzed. He has some work to do now. Amaranth goes Alakazam on predicted rest. On turn 17, Kaz tries to trade paralysis, Chansey and Alakazam. Amaranth doesn't want this trade, goes Chansey. So Snorlax comes back, but Chansey is at full HP, almost 98%. Kaz keeps scouting for counter. Thunder Wave again, Cloyster comes in again, no Paraslam. Starmie into Cloyster, no freeze. Snorlax against Chansey again. Amaranth goes Snorlax, full paralysis, and Cloyster comes in on predicted rest, so Amaranth has the upper hand. Jinx into Blizzard, down to 5 PPs. Starmie against Alakazam, Kaz pulls back. Amaranth Thunder Waves Chansey. Both go Snorlax. Amaranth can spam Body Slam. Turn 37, Kaz wins the speed tie. Hyper Beam was definitely dangerous. 75% to knockout, had Amaranth won the speed tie. Amaranth goes Cloyster, Kaz uses Body Slam, critical hit. Amaranth uses rest. Kaz gets the Paraslam. So all of a sudden Kaz is very dangerous. Kaz decides to go Rhydon, uses Rock Slide, Amaranth goes Tauros, Blizzard, Kaz stays in, and Kaz decides to let Rhydon go. He puts Tauros to 30%, but I don't necessarily agree with this play. I feel like Kaz needed Rhydon to make progress in this game. Of course, Ice Beam Chansey makes things harder for Rhydon, but Snorlax's attacks aren't enough to take care of Cloyster unless Tauros is Thunderbolt. So Rhydon goes down, Amaranth gets Hyper Beam off, Kaz goes for Body Slam, gets the critical hit, so Tauros is gone. Amaranth follows with Snorlax. Kaz predicts Hyper Beam, goes Starmie. So on turn 48, Kaz realizes that this Starmie needs to counter both Snorlax and Cloyster. So he decides to use Psychic instead of Thunder Wave, and That's a good call. He gets a critical hit. Snorlax is forced out. Kaz goes Snorlax. Chansey uses Thunder Wave and eventually goes down. Turn 55 is very interesting. Hyper Beam will get a knockout. Kaz has the option to sacrifice Jinx. Alakazam is very dangerous, and Kaz needs an unstatused Snorlax to win this game. Amaranth decides to use Rest. Kaz is fully paralyzed, then uses Rest. Amaranth goes Cloyster. Kaz goes Starmie, clicks Thunder Wave, and connects on Alakazam. Very nice. Next, Chansey is trying to set up a switch in for Snorlax. But eventually Amaranth is the one who goes Snorlax. Amaranth scouts for counter, reveals Earthquake. So this is Fizzlax with Rest over Self-Destruct. Thunder Wave then Jinx on predicted Hyper Beam. However, Kaz decides to go Snorlax. Amaranth is fully paralyzed. Goes Cloyster as Kaz uses Rest. Cloyster gets the critical hit and the knockout on Starmie. Kaz goes Tauros trying to stop Cloyster. Amaranth pulls back, goes Snorlax, protects Cloyster. And rightfully so. So Snorlax uses Hyper Beam, Kaz pulls back. Cloyster comes in, Jinx is sacrificed. So Kaz goes Tauros again. This time Amaranth stays in, uses Explosion. So Amaranth is somehow relying on Jinx. He forces the Snorlax to rest, but he decides to stay in anyway. He doesn't FP, so Body Slam twice, Hyper Beam is a knockout. And at this point, he's going to beat Chansey. Good game. Game 2, both players anti-lead. Kaz has Zapdos lead. Amaranth has Alakazam, Kaz goes Exeggutor. So Thunder Wave and Seismic Toss for Sleep Powder. Kaz follows with Double Edge. So both players go Alakazam, Kaz goes Zapdos. And Kaz keeps using Thunderbolt. So Kaz predicted that Amaranth was not going to switch Chansey in. So turn 7, Amaranth goes Zapdos, Kaz gets critical hit Thunderbolt. Very nice. And Kaz reveals Rhydon. Later, Kaz goes Zapdos on turn 12. This works very well. Amaranth had two options, one making a double switch to Tauros, predicting Rhydon to come in. The other one was to use Drip Pack against Exeggutor, obviously. Kaz can switch Zapdos and he is fine with both scenarios. Then Thunderwave on Chansey. Full paralysis kicks in. Critical hit on turn 15. Brutal start for Kaz. Not much Amaranth can do. Snorlax Paraslams Zapdos. No Hyper Beam. Turn 19. Zapdos is down to 19% paralyzed. Exeggutor 48% paralyzed. Amaranth uses Sleep Powder, predicting something else to come in. Kaz goes Exeggutor, and this works well for Kaz. Turn 20, relevant special drop. So Amaranth cannot beat Kaz's Exeggutor without falling in Hyper Beam range, so he pulls back, sacrifices Zapdos. Kaz will sacrifice Zapdos as well. Kaz goes Exeggutor, Amaranth goes Alakazam, trying to predict Explosion. Kaz goes Tauros, and yeah, there's nothing Amaranth can do in this game. He can reveal Hyper Beam on turn 30, preventing Explosion from Kaz's Exeggutor. Turn 31, Kaz reveals Cloyster, doesn't miss Explosion, and from this point Kaz can start celebrating. So yeah, no Chansey, no Snorlax for Kaz. Alakazam seals the deal. Good game. Game 3, Alakazam against Starmie. Kaz goes Exeggutor, and this is a trend. Players are now going Exeggutor on turn 1 against Alakazam. It happens a lot. And this is what happens when you drop Sing Chansey. Sleep Powder, Amaranth goes Chansey, gets the sleep on Kaz's Chansey with Sing. Then Thunderwave on Starmie. So Starmie is paralyzed, Exeggutor is paralyzed and crippled, Chansey is left. Like, this looks very bad for Kaz already. Amaranth goes Starmie on Predicted Recover. Kaz uses Thunderwave instead, goes Exeggutor. On turn 11, Amaranth reveals Blizzard, tries to get the roll on Exeggutor, he doesn't, but Exeggutor is fully paralyzed. Kaz pulls back, Amaranth ironically is fully paralyzed. However, Amaranth goes Tauros against sleeping Chansey. Chansey wakes up, uses Thunderwave on incoming Chansey, and Seeing connects again. Amaranth goes Snorlax. Kaz will sacrifice Exeggutor, follows with Rhydon. Amaranth has Reflect and Earthquake as well, so Substitute will not work. Kaz sacrifices Starmie, so 6 on 4. Kaz reveals Persian, so Persian will beat Snorlax. Amaranth pulls back, sacrifices Alakazam. On turn 25, Kaz goes Rhydon, and Alakazam wakes up. But this game was over already, and Kaz has nowhere to go. Chansey is sleeping, and the other Pokemon are weak to special attacks. So Amaranth gets the win. Good game. This time Snorlax-less team did not work. Kaz has rest Tauros, but Amaranth has a fresh team and is going to win. Playing great again, well deserved. Then we have ISZA against SERPI, Starmie against Alakazam, and ISZA goes Chansey, uses Sing. Jengar is put to sleep, but it wakes up immediately. Jengar misses Hypnosis, ISZA goes Starmie, which is okay. He felt like he did not want to risk Hypnosis on Chansey. However, Starmie has Surf, and this is a problem. SERPI goes Exeggutor. ISZA doesn't want to use Thunder Wave against Exeggutor. He wants to get the sleep first. So SERPI gets the sleep basically for free. SERPI tries to stun Spore for a while. ISZA will not switch out, so SERPI goes Tauros. Sleep Powder, Jengar is put to sleep again. Alakazam against Chansey, player straight paralysis. So ISZA's Snorlax moveset is going to be relevant. Now Chansey is a status absorber, so ISZA wants to let Starmie wake up, which happens on turn 20. So to put it simple, ISZA got the sleep off and SERPI didn't get the sleep. Right now ISZA has 6 active Pokemon. Chansey is a status absorber. Turn 27. Thunder Wave on Exeggutor. SERPI doesn't click Sleep Powder, so ISZA makes even more progress. Turn 30, ISZA uses Recover in front of Alakazam. SERPI is fully paralyzed. Then Critical Hit Surf on Exeggutor. SERPI clicks Explosion. Exeggutors are traded. Snorlax Ditto. SERPI pulls back, goes Jengar, and ISZA reveals Ice Beam. SERPI has the perfect coverage. Jengar and Cloyster are going to shut Snorlax down. However, this Starmie looks very dangerous for SERPI. ISZA doesn't pull back on turn 38, leaves Starmie out against Snorlax. Snorlax gets the Paraslam and then Self-Destruct trades. So Cloyster becomes very dangerous here. Cloyster leaves the floor to Alakazam against Chansey. ISZA goes Snorlax. Critical Hit Psychic deals a lot of damage. Eventually, ISZA uses Tauros to Paraslam Cloyster. Cloyster gets the knockout on Snorlax. ISZA reveals Zapdos, which is quite scary right now. Jengar wakes up too late, and on turn 55 it's quite clear that ISZA is going to try and win this game with Zapdos. So somehow this game was going to come down to whether Zapdos is going to be able to single-handedly win for ISZA or not. Alakazam is fully paralyzed, so Zapdos beats Alakazam. Tauros gets the Critical Hit Body Slam on Zapdos. ISZA goes Chansey on predicted Hyper Beam. He makes double switch to Tauros, and honestly, I think I would just attack. Anyway, ISZA makes a nice double switch. Tauros against Tauros. ISZA predicts SERPI to go Cloyster, so makes a double switch to Zapdos. And this way he earns the knockout on Cloyster. Thunderbolt on Tauros. No critical hit, no full paralysis. So Tauros Ditto. Both players click Hyper Beam. Nothing happens, no critical hit, no misses. So ISZA gets the win. Good game, well played. Game 2, Starmie against Executor. ISZA switches to Jengar, trying to catch a switch. SERPI stays in, uses sleep powder. Anyway, Jengar going to sleep is okay. Then Executor. Then SERPI's Executor uses Stun Spore and explodes against Executor. A risky move, but it worked. Like exploding against Jengar is always risky, it comes with a risk. But yeah, this means that ISZA will not get the sleep. Also, SERPI follows with Zapdos. Drill Peck, critical hit on Chansey, and Thunderbolt, critical hit, predicting Starmie to come in. Wow. This was brutal, like the worst, or some of the worst 5 turns I've ever seen. By turn 6, ISZA is left with just Snorlax and Tauros. Turn 6, SERPI switches out against Snorlax. I don't know whether he even needs to do that, it depends on movesets. Thunder Wave, then SERPI goes Cloyster on a possible Hyper Beam. ISZA sacrifices Executor, Cloyster misses, then connects. Then ISZA tries to let Jengar wake up, Cloyster misses Blizzard 2 more times. Finally, Jengar wakes up, uses Hypnosis against Chansey, misses twice. Tauros Revenge kills. Tauros against Snorlax, Blizzard doesn't get the freeze. Critical hit Body Slam, SERPI uses Self-Destruct. And yeah, turn 22, ISZA goes Snorlax. SERPI has both physical and special attacks. Good game. Like, yeah, games like these can happen. ISZA knew that he lost the chance to use a sleep move, so he tried to save Executor, switched Chansey into Drill Peck, hoping to dodge bad luck, then switched Starmie into Zapdos. Like, at some point you have to accept that you have lost the sleep. Turn 3 Explosion was high risk, high reward. It worked. So game 3, Starmie against Jinx. Lovely Kiss. SERPI pressures Jinx with Seismic Toss. And Jinx is in trouble. Executor comes in, trades Paralysis with Chansey, Explosion by ISZA. Follows with Zapdos. So Zapdos against Executor, Sleep Powder connects. Then Executor against Chansey repeats itself, Stun Spore, Thunder Wave Explosion. So Tauros against Snorlax. Things are looking good for ISZA on turn 19. Uses Rest, however SERPI reveals Zapdos. And in this game, Jinx being a non-factor makes all the difference. Tauros is exposed to Zapdos. Tauros is fully paralyzed. Next, StarMie wakes up. SERPI has self-destruct Snorlax, so this is what you get against great players. When the early games goes well for you, they are still in the game, they come back. When they get the good early game, things are over for you. You're done. Game 1, SERPI had to beat StarMie and Zapdos with a team that was not well equipped to fight them. Also, he had a bad early game, and even with that, the game came down to the very last turn. Then SCEPTROSS against Nicole. Jungler against StarMie. Nicole goes Executor on turn 1 trying to catch a switch. SCEPTROSS stays in, uses Hypnosis, connects on Executor. Nicole goes Chansey. SCEPTROSS goes Chansey as well. Nicole uses Sing. Mind Games. SCEPTROSS goes Snorlax as Nicole goes Tauros. So Nicole pulls back. Double Body Slam on Snorlax. Then Reflect by both players. SCEPTROSS goes Gengar. Nicole uses Rest, stays in, so Snorlax did again. Turn 17, critical hit, double critical hit, revenge kill, both Snorlax are gone. Anyway, SCEPTROSS needs to let Chansey wake up so he can counter StarMie, and at the same time Nicole still has an active Chansey, seeing Chansey. Turn 19-20, double switch by SCEPTROSS. Stun Spore on Chansey. Goes Chansey again, burns one sleep turn. Stays in, Tauros comes in. Goes Gengar into Body Slam. Stays in with Gengar against Tauros. Earthquake gets the critical hit. And then Nicole's Tauros gets another critical hit in the Tauros Ditto. Both players switch out. SCEPTROSS reveals Zapdos. Nicole has Rhydon. SCEPTROSS goes Tauros, makes a double switch, predicting Rhydon, and then he clicks Body Slam, predicting StarMie to come in. Paraslam. So very nice sequence by SCEPTROSS. Still not enough, but getting somewhere. He goes Chansey, but it will not wake up, at least for now. Tauros comes in. SCEPTROSS goes Zapdos, gets Paraslammed. Nicole goes Rhydon. SCEPTROSS makes a double switch to Tauros. And Nicole will sacrifice Executor. Nicole follows with StarMie, makes a double switch, predicting Chansey to come in. SCEPTROSS stays in, Body Slam on Tauros, very nice, and it's a critical hit, so Tauros goes down. So Nicole goes StarMie again, SCEPTROSS goes Chansey again, Chansey wakes up. So it's a 4-on-3. SCEPTROSS explodes on StarMie, starts spamming Body Slam, Chansey is fully paralyzed. And from this point, one mind game is all SCEPTROSS needs. Turn 44, Body Slam against incoming Rhydon. Blizzard doesn't miss, so from this point, only RNG can take this win away from SCEPTROSS. Nothing happens, good game, very well played, especially by SCEPTROSS. That was great comeback. Game 2. Early sleep move tragedies. Jengar is put to sleep. Nicole Thunderwaves Jinx. Tauros on predicted rest. Starmie takes one for the team. Thunderwave on Chansey. Snorlax comes in on SEPTROSS' side. Nicole goes Jengar. Double switch to Cloyster. SEPTROSS uses Body Slam twice. SEPTROSS goes Jinx, lures Tauros. So SEPTROSS goes Chansey. And at this point, there's a chance for a chain switch, triple switch. Snorlax predicting Chansey to come in on Nicole's side. However, SEPTROSS doesn't go for that play, uses Thunder Wave. Snorlax comes in the next turn. Nicole is still trying to understand whether this Snorlax has Earthquake or not. Cloyster is fully paralyzed twice, so Snorlax against Executor. Tauros comes in for free on Nicole's side, gets the critical hit on Starmie. Turn 30 double switch by Nicole, it doesn't work. Thunder Wave for Sleep Powder. Nice trade for Nicole. Turn 33, SEPTROSS keeps his Chansey status free. Nicole goes Cloyster. SEPTROSS goes Zapdos on after rest. So it looks like Nicole is going to sacrifice Jengar, which means that SEPTROSS' Snorlax is going to get open. Nicole follows with Tauros. Thunder Waved by Zapdos. SEPTROSS goes Chansey, critical hit. Nicole pulls back. Not a great trade. A Body Slam on Zapdos for Thunder Wave. Later, Cloyster wakes up. Zapdos comes in. Turn 46. Breed back. He goes Snorlax, uses rest, which might be a sign that this is Body Slam Hyper Beam Reflect Snorlax. He wants to set up a knockout on Cloyster with Hyper Beam, so he needs to be status free, maybe. There are some switches. Then SEPTROSS has to go Snorlax again, so Snorlax is Thunder Waved again. Cloyster comes in again, Starmie into Blizzard again, sleeping Starmie. Turn 59, Nicole uses Explosion against Chansey. SEPTROSS can predict that, goes Jinx. So Sleep Clause is active. Snorlax Dido. SEPTROSS uses Reflect. Executor is paralyzed, so this looks very good for Reflect Snorlax. SEPTROSS is Reflect Snorlax. However, Nicole reveals Amnesia, so this doesn't look good anymore. Anyway, SEPTROSS has an unstatus Chansey. Snorlax gets a critical hit. SEPTROSS clicks Thunder Wave on turn 70. maybe a little bit too late, but there's always the risk that you might lose time if Nicole goes Chansey and you click Thunderwave. So eventually SCEPTROSS is able to pressure Snorlax. Turn 79, Nicole gets the freeze on Chansey. SCEPTROSS goes Tauros immediately and Nicole uses another Amnesia. So 82% to Tauros. The next turn, Nicole predicts Hyper Beam, goes Tauros, SCEPTROSS misses, which is unfortunate for Nicole. Anyway, this is an uphill battle for Nicole if you consider that Zapdos is unstatused, it has agility, and Nicole's team is paralyzed. Every member is paralyzed. SCEPTROSS' Snorlax wakes up after rest. Chansey is affected by yellow magic. SCEPTROSS' Snorlax is affected by yellow magic as well. Doesn't get enough damage so that Zapdos can knock out with Drill Peck. So on turn 93, there's a relevant mind game. Exeggutor's Explosion is likely to knock out Zapdos. In that case, Nicole's Tauros is likely to win. Nicole's Exeggutor is fully paralyzed. SCEPTROSS stays in, uses Drill Peck. Nicole's Tauros doesn't get the Paraslam on Zapdos. So SCEPTROSS wins. Good games. Well played by both. I feel like Nicole eventually got the best chances that you can possibly get in a game like this. SCEPTROSS, 2 solid games, spectacular comeback in game 1. Then we have Shiloh against CHUVA. Alakazam against Alakazam. Shiloh goes Exeggutor. Sleep Powder, even if down to 24%. I feel like I would click Explosion there, but maybe this is the only sleeper. Anyway, it worked. CHUVA allows Tauros to come in. However, Alakazam wakes up. So Shiloh is in a world of trouble. He goes Alakazam, trades Thunderwave. Snorlax against Alakazam. Shiloh goes Chansey. CHUVA pulls back. So Shiloh's unstatus Chansey is going to become a meme sooner or later. Yeah, Alakazam, Ditto, CHUVA goes Snorlax, Shiloh goes Chansey. This is the main theme. Turn 31, Thunderwave on Snorlax, and CHUVA cannot make any progress. Turn 40, Shiloh goes Snorlax. CHUVA predicts that, uses Thunderwave. CHUVA goes Snorlax, Shiloh goes Chansey again. Turn 44, Shiloh goes in Hyper Beam range, but it looks like CHUVA doesn't have Hyper Beam. Finally, Snorlax goes down on turn 49, so Tauros has to fight Snorlax. Self-destruct, and all of a sudden, Shiloh, after a complex start, is way ahead. Shiloh's Alakazam beats CHUVA's Alakazam. CHUVA reveals Zapdos. Zapdos does very well against Alakazam. It gets Thunder Waved in the process, but Alakazam is gone. So right now, CHUVA's Exeggutor is back in this game. Shiloh doesn't have a Status Absorber anymore. Turn 72, Mind Game. Shiloh goes Exeggutor on Sleep Powder. However, that's fine with CHUVA, he has Hyper Beam. Turn 73, Shiloh is fine with that, he has Lapras. Blizzard on Exeggutor. And in this scenario, CHUVA is dangerous because Zapdos can use Agility, and Shiloh also needs to play around Explosion. Like Exeggutor can use Sleep Powder on Lapras and threaten Explosion on Chansey. So there are multiple threats by CHUVA, and I don't know, there are some things that can happen with RNG, like Sleep missing, Lapras getting the freeze or the critical hit, Zapdos being fully paralyzed, Tauros. So, very complex scenario and complex game. Exeggutor gets frozen. Also, we don't know the last one for CHUVA. CHUVA goes Starmie, Shiloh has Chansey. So at this point, Shiloh switches Tauros into Thunderbolt. He wants to save Lapras because it has super effective attacks against everything CHUVA has. And maybe this Chansey cannot beat Starmie, we don't know. CHUVA sacrifices Exeggutor, goes Starmie, Chansey comes in, CHUVA goes Zapdos. Drill Peck, Shiloh goes Tauros. CHUVA goes Starmie, turn 84, Paraslam. And from this point, it looks like Shiloh is going to win. Like, even if CHUVA goes Zapdos, he needs to use Agility and he needs to dodge full paralysis. He needs to beat Chansey, so critical hit on Chansey, critical hit on Lapras. And Zapdos cannot win this game. So, a good game. Something was weird with CHUVA's Snorlax. Then Zapdos took out Alakazam. Then Shiloh got the freeze on Exeggutor. A little bit of chaos. Game 2, Alakazam did again. So Shiloh gets the first sleep and Exeggutor is crippled again. Shiloh goes Tauros, CHUVA goes Snorlax. They trade. Shiloh uses Stun Spore on CHUVA's Exeggutor. However, Shiloh's Exeggutor is almost gone. So Shiloh explodes, CHUVA goes Alakazam. Good trade for CHUVA. So CHUVA goes Executor, Sleep Powder on Alakazam. CHUVA goes Tauros. Shiloh stays in with Alakazam, so free Body Slam on Snorlax. Turn 16. CHUVA predicts Self-Destruct, goes Rhydon. Shiloh goes Starmie. CHUVA reveals Starmie as well. Shiloh uses Thunder Wave on the switch in, so no Chansey for CHUVA, and Executor is crippled. CHUVA's Starmie is fully paralyzed. CHUVA goes Executor. Shiloh goes Snorlax on Executor. CHUVA is fully paralyzed. So Rhydon into Snorlax. Rhydon is paraslammed. Even Ice Beam Thunderbolt Chansey is very dangerous. This is what happens with Chanseyless teams. It's harder to drop Chansey, mostly because a lot of players are back to Ice Beam Thunderbolt Chansey. Shiloh's Starmie is Surf, so CHUVA goes Executor. And the last move is Rest, so this is Rest Executor. Shiloh is trying to wake up with Alakazam, but this is not going to help. CHUVA has a fresh Executor. And it looks like this Rest Executor is a problem for Shiloh. He doesn't know what to do. So turn 37, Stun Spore on incoming Snorlax. Snorlax against Rhydon. And this is Rest Rhydon as well. Shiloh has Rest Self-Destruct Snorlax. Shiloh needs something from Rhydon. Gets critical hit Rock Slide on turn 59. CHUVA sacrifices Starmie. Turn 63 and 64. Shiloh goes Starmie, makes a double switch to Rhydon. CHUVA stays in, catches Rhydon. Body Slam twice. Shiloh stays in with Rhydon. Rhydon is paraslammed. Turn 66. CHUVA's Tauros doesn't use Blizzard. Earthquake gets the critical hit and the knockout on Shiloh's Rhydon. Shiloh makes a double switch to try and wake up with Alakazam against the sleeping Executor. CHUVA stays in, gets the knockout on Alakazam. Yeah, Shiloh has a problem beating Rhydon and Executor, which are both Rest. Executor walls Starmie, Rhydon walls Snorlax. And Executor can use Sleep Powder and Stun Spore. Yeah, Sleep Powder, Starmie wakes up immediately. Critical hits, full paralysis. Executor is in danger on turn 78. It uses Rest. Three more full paralysis. CHUVA stays in on turn 85. He knows that Snorlax is not going to use Self-Destruct. Anyway, the only thing that can win this game for Shiloh is if Executor is fully paralyzed. However, turn 88, CHUVA stays in with Rhydon in front of Starmie. Shiloh clicks Surf and CHUVA loses the game. That was shocking. It looks like a misclick, or maybe CHUVA just getting too deep into the mind game war. Like, this is a game where you just make the obvious move, you go Executor on Starmie, Rhydon on Snorlax, and you're fine anyway. Like, game isn't necessarily over. CHUVA can still win with critical hit Psychic on incoming Snorlax, so Snorlax comes in into Stun Spore. However, CHUVA is the one who is fully paralyzed. Shiloh uses Self-Destruct, so good games. Then we have SPIES against FELIX. Game 1, Jinx against Jinx. SPIES puts FELIX's Jinx to sleep twice. Then Blizzard against Chansey. 2 critical hits in a row. Thunder Wave. And eventually, Chansey is frozen. Snorlax against Starmie. FELIX decides to pull back, goes Chansey. Frozen Chansey. Then Jinx. And these are signs that this freeze is going to hurt. SPIES doesn't go Tauros, doesn't go Snorlax. Reveals Surf, so FELIX can now go Executor. Eventually, Jinx is sacrificed. FELIX revenge kills with Tauros. SPIES decides to save Jinx. He goes Snorlax. SPIES gets critical hit Body Slam and follows with Hyper Beam. So this game looks over. Anyway, FELIX follows with Executor. Jinx is sacrificed. Snorlax is put to sleep. Stun Spore on Starmie. FELIX reveals Zapdos and makes double switch to Executor, predicting possible Rhydon. SPIES goes Snorlax instead, so maybe this Zapdos can do something. SPIES goes Executor, uses Sleep Powder, so FELIX is left with Snorlax and Zapdos. SPIES goes Tauros. Chansey is sacrificed. SPIES gets critical hit, then pulls back. Starmie knocks out Snorlax. Zapdos revenge kills. Then Tauros gets critical hit on Zapdos. And Tauros beats Zapdos, so one unrevealed Pokemon for SPIES. Maybe it was Chansey, maybe it was something out of the ordinary. We don't know. Game 2, Starmie against Gengar. SPIES goes Jinx immediately as FELIX goes Chansey, so lovely kiss on Gengar. FELIX uses Sing, SPIES goes Chansey, and I don't think this worked well for SPIES. I think he predicted Thunder Wave. Starmie against Tauros. Thunder Wave on Chansey, SPIES makes progress. FELIX goes Snorlax, SPIES goes Chansey, so free Body Slam for FELIX. However, nothing happens. Snorlax Ditto. Reflect, both players have Reflect. Turn 28, FELIX gets the critical hit. He goes Executor, SPIES uses Body Slam. Self-destruct. And this is interesting. Maybe SPIES has a Rhydon, but SPIES goes Starmie against Starmie. FELIX uses Thunder Wave, but he doesn't have Thunderbolt, so SPIES can use Thunder Wave against Starmie. So Starmie against Chansey for a while. FELIX reveals Seismic Toss, so maybe he just didn't want to give Rhydon the green light. FELIX goes Snorlax on turn 49. Starmie is paralyzed, so SPIES goes Tauros. However, Snorlax is Reflect Earthquake, so it's not going to beat Tauros. FELIX goes Gengar. And finally Gengar goes down. FELIX follows with Tauros, uses Hyper Beam. SPIES goes Chansey and gets the Freeze Witch. SPIES goes to Jinx. FELIX has a Status Absorber in Starmie. SPIES goes Starmie. He tries Recover, fully paralyzed. So SPIES sacrifices Chansey. Tauros against Snorlax. This time FELIX stays in and Snorlax goes down. At this point, SPIES uses Hyper Beam, gets the critical hit and the knockout. Hyper Beam against Starmie. FELIX tries to use Recover plus an attack. Starmie is fully paralyzed. And eventually Starmie fails to get the knockout. Tauros reveals Rest. Anyway, Starmie gets the knockout on Tauros. So SPIES tries to use Recover with Starmie again. This is Thunderbolt Starmie. And FELIX hits the speed die, gets the critical hit. At this point, SPIES reveals Rhydon, so FELIX still has a chance. SPIES uses Earthquake directly. Starmie doesn't move, fully paralyzed, so from this point, SPIES is going to win. Yeah, on top of that, Sing misses, so SPIES wins. Good games, but yeah, I mean, SPIES did what he was supposed to do. FELIX faced very bad RNG, not much you can do in that case. Overall, another good week. Amaranth, SERPI, SCEPTROSS, doing great. Shiloh, this trend of self-destruct explosion is having a lot of fun, I can tell. Usage spread, still the same. We didn't see a lot of counter Chansey this week. Week 8 is going to be played very soon. Thanks for watching and see you